Today we're joined by Charles Esten, an incredible artist and actor. Some of you may know him from his performances on Outer Banks and on Nashville, but others might know him from performing on the Grand Ole Opry. I was a huge fan of the TV show Nashville, and I met Charles when I did a special guest appearance on one of the episodes, and we've basically been friends ever since. We performed on the Opry together many times, and we've done some other work things together, and this is going to be a hilarious episode. I just know it. I can't wait to get started. So without further ado, please welcome my good friend, Charles Esten. Charles Esten. What do you like to be called? Chip, Charles, Charlie?
Well, everybody knows me as Charles. All the credits, except for anybody that saw me on Who's Line, where I was Chip. But all my friends call me Chip. I believe you're my friend.
I'm going to call you Chip.
Please call me Chip.
We've been friends now for about, 5, 6, 7 years?
Oh, more than that, because you were on, unless you didn't consider me a friend back then.
No, I just can't.
You were on, Nashville's been off the air for 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
So you were on Nashville. What year do you remember?
Probably 2014 or 15.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
okay.
That's about 10 years.
God, it is. Time flies. Because when you're so busy, I just cannot remember,
No, I'm the same way.
What year was that?
Yeah, my wife is so helpful like that. I call her Rain Woman because she's like Rain Man, but she does it with other dates. I'll be like, when did we go on that trip to Colorado? She goes August 14th, 2012. Definitely August 14th.
Right, yeah.
So she knows it all. I know none of it.
Judge Wapner is on at 4.
Yeah,
Wapner
exactly.
at 4.
Who knows your dates? Who's the keeper of your history?
Right.
Do you remember it?
What?
Do you remember your history, your dates, when things happened, or no? They just...
Certain ones, but I will tell you the last 10 years are really confusing to me. Like, was that 2015 or 2016?
Oh, yeah, that's the COVID.
What year did Avery graduate?
Thing where it made everything shift a little bit. Yeah,
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you do during COVID?
We one of the things we did, crazily enough, is we actually ended up with extreme care, but we got to shoot Outer Banks, the show Outer Banks. We were one of the first shows back. We even shot in Barbados, but we had to be isolated in our hotel rooms for, I think it was 8 days. When we arrived in Barbados, they said you have to quarantine in your room for 8 days. Our room was about as big as this. So Patty and I found out that we do indeed like each other.
That is great.
Yeah, that was good. The other thing is I did a quarantine live stream once a week, just on a Sunday. I did the quarantine live stream, and we got off, sang some songs, told some stories. And I just found, in terms of my group of fans, that as I'm sure this is, they really know you more now than they ever had in your career, right?
Absolutely.
That's exactly how Patty and I felt about the live stream. She would be producer and sort of bring questions that I can't read that fast or that small. So she'd bring questions and we'd talk. And now I can feel at the actual shows, as I'm sure you are, there's another level of connection that you're on. And that's cool.
And I'm now obsessed with these long form conversations of podcasts. Like, I don't listen to music at all when I'm not working.
You listen, this is what you listen to?
I listen to podcasts. Yeah. Mostly political. And then I love, I have one where all she does is watch TV shows for you and recommends them,
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but I do love podcasts.
Do you do the true crime ones?
I love true crime.
My sister's loves all those things.
I love
solving
true crime.
those. Yeah.
It got to a point though where I kind of had to get away from that a little bit because it's
dark. It is dark.
Yeah.
People go, I don't know why I'm so anxious all the time, because you consistently have earplugs and you're talking about murders.
Yeah. And I can't do the whole if it has to do with a child, no, I can't do that. So that's kind of why I had to get away from it.
Yeah.
And then now I'm needing to get away from the political stuff because that's also making me insane. And so now I just try to find more lighthearted stuff. So I am a terrible sleeper.
Oh, I am the exact opposite.
You're so lucky.
Oh, I know it. Believe me, I know it. I don't take it for granted. I don't say it just to brag. I am a nap ninja. I could lay on that floor, not that that's much, because this might be the coziest floor I've ever seen.
True.
This right here. But if I laid on that, I could set my phone to 8 minutes, put it on my chest, and just lay there like that.
Okay.
And when the alarm went off, I would come out of the deepest 8-minute sleep you'd ever heard of.
Okay, I'm the same exact way as that.
Oh, you can do naps.
I can do naps. If I had all my kids chaos on the couch, TV going, they're all talking. I'm
You're
like,
out. Yeah.
but
When you go to bed.
when I go to bed, I'm just like, bing. And so I actually had yes. And so in my head, I start, especially when Avery, my son, is on the road, you know, things occur to you. So I've been on a tour bus for the last 25 years with absolutely not one problem.
Isn't that funny how we're strong to ourselves. We're all leathered up and we're fine. But when it comes to your kids, we're just like,
yeah, I don't give a shit about myself. I mean, I do, but all of a sudden it got into my head. What if something happens with Avery's tour bus?
I don't even go there because why dabble? How does it help? What does it do? You can't stop.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what I do? I put headphones in. This is even at home, but also in my bunk. I have to wear headphones and listen to a podcast or a book that I love, like East of Eden is my favorite book of all time. And that takes my brain away from my thoughts.
It engages it and doesn't let it go to that other place.
That's right. And then I fall asleep.
Yeah.
But I went to a doctor's checkup yesterday and I'm perfectly healthy, praise God. But she said, use magnesium for sleep.
I've heard about that.
So I did last night, along with a sleeping pill.
That might not make it a fair test case.
That's right.
I took magnesium and I had also a giant hit on the head with a hammer. And between those two, no, you did really? Oh, yeah. I don't even dabble. I just. So how do you know if magnesium helped?
Because I slept better. Because I'm.
You've already done.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm becoming a little bit immune to Ambien. You know what I'm saying? And so the magnesium really helped. I woke up at 5 a.m., took 2 more, and then I went back to sleep until 9.
2 more magnesium or 2 more?
Magnesium. Okay. Yeah. No, I would never take
I was
more
like,
than
where are
one
we going
Ambien.
here?
Yeah.
All right.
Have you ever taken Ambien?
This podcast was slowly turning it into an intervention, but I think
it is in many ways. Many ways.
No, I've never taken Ambien.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you're a good sleep. But so when you get up from
and when I can't sleep, I don't care. That's the other thing is I don't bite it. Like if I'm up at 2 a.m. and I'm just laying there, years ago I would sleep. Now I just get up, go read a book, go do something.
Okay, well then how long do you sleep? Like, do you?
Well, it depends. If I'm working on Outer Banks or something, some days you got to get up. And, some days on the road, Patty and I just came back from the tour and we had to catch a plane. We had to be up at 3:30 a.m.
Right.
So you're right. But I said mostly I realized that fighting it doesn't help. But that's not fair for me to say because I don't have the problem. I have friends. My buddy Chris from Nashville, Chris Carmack. Yeah, he's always fought to sleep. He has.
I'm the lightest sleeper. And then I can't sleep on the bus anymore, like any movement. And our highways.
So is your driver got to be really good? Like
He's great.
Because if you're asleep and you get this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the
yes.
worst. Yeah.
Well, the scary part about this, I'll give you a tip that my driver told me.
Please.
When you hear the rumble strip, it's fine. If you hear the other rumble strip, get the up, go up front, and make sure everything's okay with your driver.
Wait, you mean if you hear the left wheel rumble strip, but then if you hear the right wheel rumble, it's too late to get up if you hear the right wheel.
That's when you get up, or your tour manager needs to get up and run to the front and make sure everything's okay. So see, those are the things I think about when I go to bed. Like the other night, Jay had to wake me up at midnight and say, we need to go to bed because I was so exhausted from a 3-day run so that's 4 nights on the bus of not sleeping. I was so tired. I went up, got in bed, and I woke up.
Can you nap during the day of those things, or do you have time?
Yeah, I do. And I sleep really late on the bus because when the bus stops moving, that's when I can sleep.
You got to be good at naps when you're as an actor because you might be there. There's some days are 15, 16-hour days, and you have 2-3 scenes, but they're really spaced out. So
yeah,
I got really good at that.
How'd you learn how to act? I mean, I know it's a gift.
Gosh, it's funny because I've been doing it so long that I can go back and see things I'm in and go, God, I was learning. Lord, I was learning. And there it is, though. Chiseled in granite for the ages and into digital.
But you really can get into that mindset of the character.
I found I really did. In the beginning, I would read anything and take anything I could get. The method where you're thinking about your dog dying or things like that. But I found those things started taking me outside of the scene. So say you and I were here having a scene and you're doing something that should evoke something in me and I'm thinking about my dog, then I just didn't feel right like that. Eventually what happens is I had a friend that says, let the scene do you. Let the look, you'll be singing a song sometime. There's a song you up and it just starts to get you. You're not chasing it.
Right.
But it gets you. That's what started to happen.
Okay.
And you just become, especially, it really changed a lot, getting to play one person a long time, like getting to play Deacon for 6 seasons.
Right.
If I was with Connie and we were having a discussion, I would just start feeling the appropriate things in the moment. I don't know. Sometimes you don't. That's when it's tricky.
Okay.
It's just like singing or being an artist. When it's all going well, anybody can do it. What people don't understand, people don't even know, like when you see your favorite artist reaching behind their back and their in-ears aren't working and they can't hear the voice and this is happening. Or sometimes you ever been like right by your monitors, they have a fan and it's just so dry and you can feel your throat is absolutely, that's when, I'm using the metaphor, that's when it's harder to act.
Okay,
This is really something to remember too, that whoever you love, whoever your favorite scene for your favorite actors are, we always imagine that those scenes took place under the best circumstances. So like, here's looking at you, kid. Like, that line, or what, can you think of a favorite movie or a favorite line?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, frankly, my dear. Well, in that moment, you think everything was perfect. What you might not know is they were running over time. They needed to be out of there. They had 2 minutes. The door wasn't working. They're drilling. They're screaming. She's got an allergy. She's got something in their eye. And Rhett Butler's got, he's been sunburned all day. He went golfing in his arm. So I could name 20 things all going down that aren't working, aren't going right, and aren't happening. And they come in and he's got a little food poisoning or whatever.
Right.
And he walks in and everyone gets perfect and he goes, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. And boom. And all that matters is in that moment, no matter what was going on, you got it.
Right.
And that happens all the time. The sun's setting and we need that sun. I need you to go. You got one take. Go right now. Go, 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 go. And you say your line. And
I would imagine that is probably when you do it better because the pressure is there, like perhaps.
Well, some of it is letting go of pressure. Pressure is everything. Fear is everything. Fear is just the art killer in every form because, I've seen, we had co-stars or guest stars that would come on and they would be great. Like say you were just playing the district attorney and Deacon's talking to this new beautiful district attorney and we're doing this thing and you say your line and you're just friggin' nailing it, right? And everything's good and everything's fine. And then finally you're supposed to say, well, I've only been here for the last 5 years, but I'm thinking of it. And you go, well, I've only thinking for the... and they go, cut. They go, cut. Oh, let's go again. You go, well, I'm thinking for the cut. And now I'll start to see a little bit of sweat coming out on your forehead. And now you'll feel your mouth get a little... And all the easy excellence that was coming out of you before slowly gets a little tighter. And that tightness, that fear. So once or twice, I would go up to somebody, I saw that happening too. If I felt like they were open to it, and I would say, especially if they were very new, I said, I want to tell you something. You are really good. You messed up your line. Nobody cares. Okay, nobody cares at all. Mess it up 5 times. Nobody cares. 10 times. All you got to do is get it once. So forget about that. Don't be proud in front of anybody here that you got it right. Who cares what these 200 people think? What a couple million that see it later, that's what matters. So shake it off, smile, laugh, and go be as great as you are. Just get rid of that fear.
That's so nice of you because when I did a movie. I'm not even going to say what it was because I don't want anybody to see it.
I'm just going to look it up while you talk and tell
Absolutely
the world.
not. So first of all, I was COVID fat. I was under so much stress in my life, and we got a call to do this, and it was a little bit of money, which we had to cancel all of our shows. So I was like, yeah, I need money. So the hardest part for me, and this is okay. So wait, let me back up. When I was a special guest on Nashville.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were fantastic. You apparently don't remember it as such.
No, I thought I was okay on some scenes, but the scene where everybody was in the dressing room, like backstage, which is so fake that doesn't happen. I mean, that shit doesn't go on.
Well, what was the setting? It was one big concert. Were there multiple artists there, you're saying, or what?
So who's the guy that was in my scenes with me?
You're talking about Will Chase.
Will Chase.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the episode...
He played Luke Wheeler.
Luke Wheeler. Yeah. And I played Sarah Evans. Okay, so...
Typecasting.
Yeah, which was so hard.
Oh, that would be harder. That would be way harder. I mean, yeah, I get that. Keep going.
I'm like,
you're like, what is Sarah Evans? How do I act like her?
I don't know how I act. I mean, I don't know how people perceive me. So I'm just going to. So he was like, I'm going to fly you up to my concert. And we sang Put My Heart Down Together. Okay. Yeah. After the concert, supposedly everybody was backstage and you and Luke Wheeler didn't like each other, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you came backstage and you were across the room and you were singing a song and playing guitar.
I remember this. Yeah.
And they said, so this is the part that I think is the hardest about acting, I would guess, because I'm not an actor. They said, turn and look at Charles and give a facial expression like you're really digging the song he's singing.
So that was hard for you to do, to act like you cared about a song I was singing?
No.
That was your difficulty?
No, it had nothing. You sounded great.
Am I kidding?
It was hard for me to make a face. So I literally turned and I was like... I swear.
No, what you said is exactly right. The hardest thing to do, and it's just not a... It's a tough direction. Is make a face is what they're saying to you.
Yeah, make a face like you're really digging that song. Like, that's really good. Like, if that were really happening, I would probably be like, he's good, you know. But acting, I was like, it was so bad. So we had all these friends over. I want to talk about you, but just real quick.
No, I love this so much. It's exactly right. And it's hard. That's why often as an actor, you fight, you go, I don't think I'd look over like, what do you want me to do? I mean, just.
Yeah, I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have.
What would you have done if I...
Nothing. I would have just sat there and I would
Yes, and that would be more real. Well, that's the hard thing. It's harder to act things that feel unreal to you.
Right.
That's exactly right.
Right.
So now...
Especially when you know what's real about the country music industry.
Yeah.
So that would not happen. That would, you know, later I might have been like, oh my God, did you hear that song he was singing? That was amazing. But I wouldn't have done that in the moment. So we had all these friends over, family, everybody
watching the episode.
to watch it. Swear to God.
Did they freeze frames?
That part came on and no one even tried to spare my feelings. Everybody goes, oh my God, Mom. They all died laughing.
So
at me.
I just think it was unfair of them to make you act like you liked my singing. That was
it wasn't. I love your singing.
But the thing is, if they had never asked you to do anything, pretend they'd said nothing to you, and I was over there playing, you would have just looked over like, you would have been like, you do
the face. Pretend I'm singing a song from across the room. What face would you make if you had to do that?
Okay, all right. This is me doing it. This is you doing it.
Yours was still better. Your imitation of me was still better.
What they say is this. It's do less, do nothing.
Right.
Do less, do nothing. And so if they come to you, they go, can you do more? I would say, no, I can't.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Fire me? Go get another Sarah Evans? I can't do more. And the other thing is, what you can tell them, and they don't know, the great actors, you hear this all the time. When you're acting with a great actor, you're like, they're not doing anything. And the answer is, that's right. But when you see it on the screen, they're thinking something. It's more about thinking. If I was your director that day, and I don't know. By the way, that might not have been a director. That could have been an assistant director. Please, I'm not going to talk bad about any directors.
No. I'm not saying it was a bad director. I'm saying everybody said, this isn't our usual director. This director is a lot more strict. Yeah. So it made me scared.
Oh, that's the last thing you want.
Yeah, I got
scared. So you're scared. The director. Also, the director might have been weighing over his head. And remember all those things I was saying? What you don't know is we don't have that song cleared. We had to switch in a new song. Her dress isn't working. He's right here. This actress is furious at me and I could barely get her out of her trailer.
They could have been.
And they're walking over. They know they need shots. There's no way they don't get a shot of Sarah Evans. They have to get a shot of you if you're in the room.
Yeah.
And so what he did was took a shortcut, which is make the face I want for the scene.
Right.
Instead of just trust that you let me play it. Or what you mostly I would do is, all you got to do is think about it. Just think to yourself, that's pretty good. And so I would ignore your face. Don't do anything with your face.
Yeah.
And just think, that's pretty good.
God, I wish you could have told me that day. Because, and I take that back. I didn't mean
Me too,
he was a bad director. It could even have been a girl. Just whatever director it was very, like you said, something could have been going on.
I'm certain it was.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I just
But that doesn't matter. You have to have all the time in the world, especially for a guest star, especially for someone like you that was kind enough to grace our show with your actual, no, I don't mean like you're the Queen of England or something, but you're legitimately a country music star in Nashville. So you were gracing us and doing us a favor. So I would say, more than anything, you want to keep you loose and laughing. I would come up and go, there's a lot on Nashville that would happen. This might not. This is kind of, and you'd be smiling, go, yeah. And I go, but if it did, if Chip just picked up a guitar and started playing, I'm sure you'd enjoy it. That's all you're doing. Go ahead.
Right. Or I wish they would have let me say later, like, as I'm walking out, like, God, I love that song Chip was playing, or anything like that.
Oh, see, that's a rewrite, and that's great, because first you look at your face and you don't know what you're thinking, and then you say, that was really good. Yeah.
The look on my face literally said, I have diarrhea, or I have bad gas. I mean, it was that bad. You go find
Again, I was playing at the time.
No, it had nothing to do with you.
Okay.
It had nothing to do with you. Because honestly, I could barely hear you. You were so far across the set.
That's right.
Remember? You were far away from me. So they were like, yeah. Anyway.
Well, that's been our podcast, everyone.
Good night, everybody. I have diarrhea, and we're going to have to cut this short. Okay, hold up. Now, this is where I might have been okay. And I did not know this about you. Tell me about Whose Line Is It Anyway? I did not know that was you. I mean, I don't think I watched it that much.
Also, I look different. I was a lot younger. Is this where we put up a picture? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll drop in a picture right here.
See that? Right? Baby boy.
You're in show business. Tell me about that, and because you are so funny. I mean, every time I've been around you, you're so funny. You're very witty and natural.
Yeah, I think that about you.
Like me, almost as funny as me. But I think that I might have been kind of good at that show rather than acting.
You do. Well,
maybe
I could see that. And I never get people that think, how do you do that? Because like when you're with your friends, when you're with your family, you're never like, what will I say now?
Right.
Or how do I respond to that?
Right. And I grew up in a family of 7 kids.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, I grew up in a family, we didn't have that many kids, but cousins, uncles, aunts, and they were all sharp, man.
Yes.
So holidays were boom, boom, boom.
I can tell.
So there's a lot of that. Yeah.
I can tell.
But also, it also has to do with how relaxed you are. Like if I came up, I go, all right, we have 5 more minutes and you have 3 more games and I need you to be funny. I need you, this next one, I really need you. You'd be like, more than anything, now you don't even have a script to rely on. Now you just have, because that happened to me. Because like when I first started on Whose Line, I was in England. I was playing Buddy Holly in the early 90s. And I got an audition for this show that was never going to be seen by anybody I knew. It wasn't even on in the United States.
Okay.
It was a British show.
Okay.
And I already had this great job paying me big money. So I went over there and just auditioned. I was just loose as a goose, sort of the balls of youth where you don't care.
Yeah.
And you don't know enough to care.
Right.
And so I was so free and and they were like, oh, all right. And they hired me. And so I did a bunch of them and that's how I was. And now, about a year later, Buddy ends, and I go back to Los Angeles. Now they're flying me all the way over to London. And also the other thing about Whose Line is you would shoot like a bunch of episodes at once. Like you would do a 3-hour taping or something. And from that, you might get 3 or 4 episodes, which meant you got paid either X for one or 2X or 3X, or you might get paid 4 times. So, and not only that, if you aren't funny in this episode, Sarah, they're not going to call you again.
Oh.
So now be funny. So what happened to me is I'd be on that airplane flying all the way over there. And now I don't have a job. This is it. And I'm either going to make this amount or I'm going to make 2 or 3 or 4 times that. And if I don't do well, I'm going to lose my job. I'm always auditioning. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, man, be funny. Be funny. Be funny. And you can't do that. There's no muscle you can flex.
Yeah.
Like if you were about to meet somebody, you went, okay, Sarah, you would be like, hi, everybody. It's no different than somebody say, look like you're enjoying that. And you go,
exactly.
Be funny. And you wouldn't be your easy, funny self. You would be this strange version of, here's a funny thing, everyone.
Right.
And so what happened was, and by the way, it wasn't a big gap. It was just a little bit different. And I didn't have a great show. It was just sort of like, I lost my spark. I lost my freedom, because freedom's huge.
Yes.
Miss Suds in the Bucket. You got to be free with all of it, or else it all feels a little. And so they quit calling. And it wasn't till it came back to the United States. In the first season, I was not on the first season. Second season, they let me audition again. And I went in there, and I had just had the mind shift where I realized what I had done. I knew I had spooked myself. And so I said to myself, all right, do not think, be funny. What do you think? And I thought, have fun. I'm going to go have fun with these guys.
Yeah.
So I sit down and I would have fun with these guys, and it was authentic and it was real and it was loose as a goose. And then I got back on and got to do a whole bunch of them.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's the real lesson about fear and freedom and what you can do and when you can't do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Did you ever have stage fright? Were you that person ever or no?
Never, because my parents put me on stage. By the time I was 6 years old, I was doing the 4-hour gig, memorizing enough songs for 4 hours, watching drunk people two-step in bars. And literally nobody thought a thing of it, because I was born to be a singer. So it just wasn't weird. It just was like, she's going to run the show. By the time I was 10, I was running bands. That's
huge. That's why it's unfair. You ask me, how do you act? And I go, well, you go do it for 30 years.
Right.
And so now when I'm in front of a camera, but I didn't get to start that young, but I remember along the way, there were a lot of lessons about fear, like shooting my first sitcom, a whole season of it. I realized that, say you and I are at a table, like at Cheers or something. There's these cameras just like there are now. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, they had this big red light on. They still do, actually. And so when that camera's on you, the red light turns on. Mm-hmm. And right before they go, action. And you're like, and here's a red light.
That just scared me.
I know. It can scare you. That's why what I heard, Clint Eastwood wouldn't say action, because he didn't want there to be a difference before and after action. He would just go, okay, when you're ready. He would just go like that, and you just keep talking and become it. Like, I don't know when you guys turn this on, like that. But with the red light on the camera, so I remember sitting there going, that red light, I just feel myself clench with a little pucker factor. Like, so how do I get rid of that? So I thought to myself, all right, in my mind, I'm going to pretend that is a relaxation ray gun. And when the red light comes on, it's shooting relaxation rays at me. So I'd be there like we are, and I'd feel that, and I'd go. And so it did the opposite to me.
Yeah. You're very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very strange. I get it.
No, I would try anything back in the day. If you're nervous and you're making your money and you're starting off and you suck right then and you're scared, how can I not suck? How can I not be scared?
Right.
So I just make up something in my head, and it worked for a little while. I was like,
I do that too. No, listen, if there's, the only time I ever have trouble singing is if I have a cold or any like drainage, any kind of that kind of stuff.
Diarrhea, you're fine. But
diarrhea, I'm fine.
Up here.
Listen, I have had to run off stage.
Oh, Lord. I didn't mean to go down this route.
I was pregnant with Audrey, my third child.
What did I ask for?
You're going to hear it.
By the way, I'm strange. Keep going.
Exactly. This is not strange at all. Audrey and Olivia are practically Irish twins. They're so close in age.
Yeah.
So I'm pregnant with Audrey. I always had the kids with me on the road. They grew up on the tour bus. I took them everywhere. It probably drove some people crazy, but I was just not going to be away from them whatsoever.
Amen.
Still, I feel that way, even though they're 19, 21, and 24. But I'm not a regular mom. I'm a cool mom. So anyway, I ate something, had an afternoon show. I had to fly there, always killing myself to work and to get there, as we do, because I always say I grew up on a farm. I understand hard work. That's where I got my work ethic. I had to work my ass off on the farm and sing every weekend and do that. So I get it. So farming is hard work, but this is very, very, very hard work. What you do, what I do, but it's just a different kind of hard.
It's because when people see the thing you're doing, that doesn't look hard, but everything surrounded the top, that's a pyramid. That's,
Yeah.
That's what's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything to get there is hard. But
we would do the singing for free. It's the travel and all the other hard
we
stuff.
just said that.
Yeah.
We just said, my brother always said, because my brother was my bass player. When we both turned pro, like I got my record deal and then he was my band leader and bass player for over 20 years. He would always say, we get paid to travel.
Yep. I agree with that.
And then doing the show is the blessing, the gift, the joy, the fun, being in front of my fans. Patsy Cline said in the movie Sweet Dreams, that feeling that you've just reached right down into their souls and grabbed them,
I would love to stay on this part. This is very, you see how I steered her away from the diarrhea story?
Yeah. Bottom line is I had to run off stage 4 times to have diarrhea.
That's the bottom line.
It is.
And no, but what you're saying is so true. And I mean it, I feel like I almost get to feel it more because I'm so unusual in as an artist, just starting at the age I did, truly starting around Nashville. Mm-hmm. It's not that I started writing songs then, or not I started performing. I was in a band in college. I've always written, I've always sung, but I did this other thing, acting, always thinking that this would come. I swear to God, I was going to run into a drummer and a bass player, and I just never did. So
not to interrupt, your first love is music, and that's what, but you're so gifted that you can also, you're such a great actor, but in your heart, you're always dreaming of one day I'm going to move it all to music or primarily focus on music. Cause
I actually don't know when I would have dreamed that. I kept thinking, oh, that'll happen. It's
right.
I'll run into this drummer. I'll meet another band. We'll do it. I didn't do the things you needed to do early on. I went to the Palomino when I was in LA in the late 80s. I stood up and played my songs at the Palomino. Uh-huh. But then I get drawn other ways and other places. And now this job takes over. Now you're having kids. And I looked up, I go, wow, I guess that's not going to happen. But then I was still writing so much. Mm-hmm. I remember seeing Jeffrey Steele came to town. And I just watched him do like a one-man writer's round, and it just inflamed me. So I really started hitting it hard and started writing with a friend of mine named Jane Bach, who is from Nashville. Mm-hmm. And I thought maybe I can get a cut. Maybe I can keep a hand in that world. I can write from around, I can go there, I can serve. But twice I was meant to come here and play with her at the Bluebird. Twice I had to cancel because I got acting. So I'm like, oh. And I said to my wife, when am I ever going to get to go to Nashville? That's never going to happen. And then I get a script that says Nashville. And so here I am, and this just opened it all up. And once it did, it was like, the best way I've said it is that it's like your high school first love, your passionate high school first love, and that you just lost her, you fell apart, and like you run into her again, and I'm never going to let her go again.
That was such a blessing from God to give you that script. Oh my gosh.
And there's so many ways it's a blessing anyway, because I sometimes look at the road not taken. What if I had gone here first? What if I'd been here in the hey 90s when all the guys my age who are slowly winding it down or doing
like Kenny Chesney.
Yeah. Or not that he's winding it down, but that but they've done their greatest hits there. What if I had done it there? I don't know. I have no idea if I could have done it. There would be no way to say. There's so much talent, so many great people, and there's so many great talented people that didn't make it. Mm-hmm. But so I try not to think about that, but it's a very strange thing to do at a time at my age, because I mean, whatever sort of favoritism there is in the business, I mean, they're not leaning towards older folks as much as they want. And also, I mean, I'm not going to get on the radio really, or even so.
I don't get on the radio anymore. They don't play any of my new music. Which is crazy. I sit back and I think, and I kind of get it, but I don't get it. I would think, to me, was there not like just a serious channel that new music from people you loved? Yes.
Like just, you loved them. You might love what they're doing now. But anyway, I wouldn't even have that, because I do these writers' rounds with these guys that all play their number ones, and I go, here's mine now. I said, I said, right now I'd like to play a song of mine that Garth cut, but I don't have one of those. So I'm going to play this and literally do that. But it's a strange thing where that I have an audience at all blows my mind. And I got to bust my butt on socials in every way to get and by the way, it's just a hard time now for everybody. You hear all these tours being canceled and everything being made smaller. So it's so hard. And sometimes I go, what are you doing? Why don't you just be the actor right now and just taking it easy and go get on a boat or go hang out? And why is exactly why you say that moment we're on stage where you see somebody, you see your lyrics on somebody's lips, you see somebody turn to somebody and take their arm or something, and you know that you've made this connection. We just got back from Europe, and I was in Oslo and Copenhagen, and there weren't a ton of people. It wasn't like I lack breadth. I'm not filling, stadiums or arenas, but in those places there's a depth of feeling there. Your fans are, and you go, oh, this means something to somebody.
And that makes it all worth it.
It does, yeah. All that other stuff would just be gravy. It's gravy I don't imagine I'll get, but it's just gravy.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, I disagree with you a lot in that you probably wouldn't have, songs on the radio or whatever. I think you would if you decided to go that route. If you decided, I'm going to sign with a label, I'm going to go on a radio tour, I'm going to, then they would play you because you look, you look very young. I don't know how old you are, but you don't look like what you're thinking or what you're describing.
But I can prove to you that you're wrong because it didn't happen. What do you think I did different? What did I aim at differently?
Did you go on a radio tour?
No, I just haven't gotten signed by a label.
Oh.
There's not a label that wanted to sign me.
Yeah.
And I was here. It was offering. You could, and then I'm even talking about labels that could have just cashed in on the whole Nashville of it all.
Absolutely.
And then dumped me. But that didn't even happen.
They're stupid. I mean, I don't understand it. I really don't, especially the Nashville of it all. Like, why not sign you right then? Then make a record with the best producer and the best musicians and put you out on a radio tour?
I don't know. I think a lot of it comes down to the thing that everybody says. I get the thing where, another actor that wants to sing. I completely get that.
But you're truly a singer.
Oh, believe me.
You are.
Well, you're going to make me cry over here because I respect your voice, not just your throat voice, but your creative voice, who you are. So that means so much to me, but still you get tarnished with that in the same way. Like I imagine if when you want to act, you feel them going, oh, she's a singer who's trying to act.
Totally.
Oh, he's an actor who's trying to sing, kind of a bit. But I have to I let all that go. I don't care. All I know is there's some people out there that like my music and want to hear it. And the ones that do, we have some special nights, me and my audiences. And I know you do too.
Yeah. Especially, I love those smaller rooms. Like, I love doing a tour where it's like an evening with Sarah Evans and the smaller theaters, maybe a couple thousand people. And, because I love to talk to the crowd and kind of be a little bit of a comedian and really connect with them. Or doing the acoustic shows. I just absolutely love them.
I'm doing both right now with the full band, and then I just go on the road. It's me and a guitar, and I get a piano on the stage, and I just go back and forth between and just talk. And what is so great about those is they become extremely, sometimes the bigger the whole production is, I imagine, the more of a train you're on, and got to get to this station. Now you got to get to that station.
Yeah.
With this, you can just amble and walk around
and the bigger the production, like you said, you were describing, this might be happening. You really do have to stay on script when it's the full band show because we're on tracks.
Yeah.
And so, I know, like, I'm going to say this right here. I'm going to say this right here. I'm going to say this right here. Whereas the other ones that are acoustic off tracks, I'll just sit there and talk, take requests.
Just double the solo. Play, go around again. I want to hear that again.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
I always say to my audiences, my fans know this, I always say that if you're looking for perfection, you can go somewhere else. You can find that a whole lot of other places. But if you're looking for connection, that's what I'm after. That's what I'm chasing. And I realize...
And passion.
Yeah.
You have the passion for it.
Oh, yeah. I realized somebody, I've told this before, but I'll start with my dad when I was really young asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? That classic dad story. And instead of saying a astronaut or a fireman, I said a clown. And he was like, why do you want to be a clown? And I mean, if he thought a little harder, he would have known that my parents were like 3 or 4 years from divorce. Things were like always. So I was the guy that was like, hey, everybody, look at this plate spinning.
Right.
Know? And I was that guy. And so I liked that. And then later with music, I remember being in high school and I wrote a song. My grandma, who I love, who helped me raise me, and she died, and I was a sophomore in college, and I wrote a song that it just came to me, and it really, beyond anything I could have imagined, said who she was. And you know how hard it is to remember people over the years? We just start to lose. It becomes a watercolor bench. But a song can lock someone down, who they are. And I saw my relatives, some of them crying, but crying in a good way like that. And I was like, I don't think I thought it consciously, but subconsciously, I was like, oh, that's the other part of it. And what I realized over the years was, between the acting and the music, I just really like to make people feel something.
Right.
If I can make you laugh till your face hurts, if I can make you cry but feel like maybe you're a little better off than you were before that cry or something, that's the stuff that gets you on a bus or a van or somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
That's right. And that's what makes you an artist. And that's, you know, and different people are born for different things. And, you know, artists are... I would say I'm one of the most normal artists, though there are, because I'm pretty much always, you know.
You seem that way. I don't see you be different people.
Yeah.
You seem to be who you are on stage, off. There's similarity there.
Yes.
I had the same thing with my buddy as Kelly Clarkson's musical director, and I saw her, first time I met her, she was in the dressing room at the Bridgestone. He said, come on back afterwards. And I had seen her on stage at the Bridgestone, and in that dressing room, those are different places, right?
Right.
Aren't you tempted to put on a little of the icon of the but whatever? She was exactly the same. So
yeah.
I don't know how, when it's such a big, another question I have for you as an artist that has done it right through the biggest years of country and with some of the biggest hits. The one thing I didn't ever really see is that I used to think labels were there to help you put out music. But after a while, I started to go, I hear so many people where the labels were stopping them from putting out music. Was it ever hard for you to go, I want this song out and get out? Did you have trouble getting out a song that you thought should be on it? Or were you always able to have that power to get off, this song moves me, it's on?
Joe Galante was the head of RCA Records. He's the one that signed me to RCA. He signed me to a 7-album deal. He never... The answer is no. I was always able to do
that. You can feel that, and then in your connection to the songs.
If you were to go back,
is that rare? Or no? Were your contemporaries and your friends at the time in the business like, oh my God, you're so lucky. I can't. Or does it have to do with how great you were, how quickly you were great? It
has to do with how great you are, because if you are truly born to do something. And look, I know I have a great voice. That's not a brag. That is just I didn't do it.
You didn't do it. God gave it to you. Yeah.
I have a great voice. Like, one of my best performances of my lifetime was when I sang Endless Love with Mark Anthony for Lionel Richie tribute. Lionel was in the audience. We could put that in, or just a little snippet, whatever. But
put the whole performance in right now.
So high. It was so hard.
But you know your notes. Was it higher than your notes, or was up there a lot? Is what you're saying?
It was up there.
Yeah.
And I'm a high singer, but it was up there. So to answer your question, I think it depends on how much confidence.
No, finish that though. It was like a high net. You think you could do this, and you did it so well that they loved it. That Lionel said something, or what? There's more to that
Lionel
story.
was freaking out in the audience. He was going. That's the face I should have made on Nashville.
That's what you should have done. All right, let's try it one more time. Try it one more time. Sarah, he's over there playing. Okay. Now here comes the camera. Now it's on you. What are you going to do?
That's what Lionel did. You'll see it when you watch it. Go YouTube it tonight.
I don't have to. I'm going to watch this. They're going to put it up.
Best performance of my lifetime. And I've had a couple others like.
Oh, that's huge. And no nerves.
Not at all.
Oh.
Not at all. Because when you're born to do something, Pete Anderson, who is Dwight Yoakam's guitar player, he produced my very first album called Three Chords and the Truth. He said to me, when you're born to do something, nothing will stop it. Nothing will get in the way. Nothing, because you're born to do it. And so Joe Galante had that faith in me. Mm-hmm. And so I was basically telling him, this is the album that we need to make. These are the songs that need to go on it. Trust me. You know what you're doing, running a label. I know what I'm doing.
Well, that's just pure wisdom. He does know what he's doing. Did know it clearly.
Yeah.
Because of that, it reminds me of that. The other thing of I Love You Now Change, where somebody falls in love with somebody and go, okay, now that I got you, let's make you something else. Why would a label do that? Why would they hear this thing? They see this beautiful creative output from this one individual that nobody else is like this person. Now let's go make them like someone. Yeah, I never got that. Yeah.
And see, Joe was smart enough not to do that.
Yeah.
He let us be who we were. Now, there were a couple of songs that he wanted me to record. One was called Breaking Dishes, and it was after Suds in the Bucket was such a big hit. Let me tell you why I recorded Suds in the Bucket. I didn't write it. And when it was pitched to me, it sounded like this. It was a swing, like a two-step. She was in the backyard, say it was a little past 9 when a prince pulled up. So it was that kind of song. And I was like, these lyrics are fabulous, but the song...
Who changed that?
I did.
You did?
Absolutely. Because I was like, this song needs to be like, well, way down yonder on the Chattahoochee, never knew how much...
Oh my God.
Because
Sarah,
the lyrics
huge.
And the music that they did didn't match.
You can't even wrap your head around the fact that it was like that. That's awesome.
I did that all the time. All the time with songs, especially ones that I didn't write. But Born to Fly started out as a bluegrass. So like, you were born to fly. It was bluegrass. Well, then a couple days after I wrote it, I heard, but if you want to be my baby, and go ahead now, and if
Spin
you
Doctors.
like to call me maybe, and I was like, that's what Born to Fly needs to be. And he's like, I've been telling my dreams to the scarecrow.
Damn.
So it was those decisions that Joe was like, I'm not touching her. I'm not changing a damn thing about what she wants to do. Because this music is so original.
But as great as both of those songs were, they just don't do what they did with those original rhythms, do they?
Correct.
There's no way.
Correct. You know, I was the first one to bring Matt Chamberlain to Nashville, the drummer.
Yeah?
He was a Edie Brickell, I'm not aware of too many things.
Sure.
I know. And he also played...
Philosophy.
Yeah. So you know that amazing drum part.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, of course.
Then he played on the Wallflowers album.
Yep.
One headlight, all
yeah.
that. And I was like, who is this drummer? Because I'm a drummer as well. So I was like, oh my God, everything he's doing.
Well, that explains everything you just said. I didn't know you were a drummer.
Yeah.
Well, no wonder you were thinking about those rhythms for those two things, because that's not an artist thing always.
Because I just knew, like, the lyrics on Suds are great, but it needs to be this train beat to make it funnier.
Well, not to mention the exact phrase, suds in the bucket.
Right.
That has to be said like.
Yeah.
Instead of suds in the bucket.
Get in the clothes.
Suds in the... There's some phrases where they're actually words, and they're the most important words, but they also sound like percussion, like suds at the bucket, suds at the bucket.
Totally.
Suds at the bucket.
Yes.
And so that's what you brought it to, the suds at the bucket.
Right. Because I was like, the words are great. So, however, Suds in the Bucket was a one-time deal. I've never been an artist to try to chase something that was successful and do it again. Mm-hmm. You should never do that.
Well, whoever did that well.
Exactly. Now, well, Kenny Chesney. Kenny Chesney has a lot of songs that
I see what you're saying. You're saying you can go in an area and stay in that arena and all. I guess I wouldn't think of two songs that those two songs are the same songs. I was thinking more like the same. Sometimes people try to chase the same concept, like she had to get out of that town. It's like, no, that's what I just sang about that.
Right. Right. And,
Yeah.
and that wasn't a dish on Kenny Chesney because he's one of my best friends.
No,
in the
and he
industry.
knows his area that he lives in, and he owns it. And the world, if they want it, that's where you go get it.
That's right.
Yeah,
That is right.
Yeah.
So with me, my area is any kind of song, any kind of music, but my voice.
Well, that makes it easy for you because your voice goes with you, right? So you can.
Yeah.
So that means you want a nice broad a whole bunch of different things, but you
Right.
can bring to it, including Endless
Yes.
Love or something
Exactly.
like that. Yeah.
And I did a covers album, like I said, and I put Come On Eileen and My Sharona and Whenever I Call You Friend, all these songs that you wouldn't expect to hear me sing.
Well, this is another place where we're different, but that inspires me to think of this, that you never had to go, what is my voice? Your voice was you as soon as you were you.
Yeah.
I come from a different place because I grew up just loving the radio, and I would just sing anything. I was so grateful to get to know somebody like B.J. Thomas. Like, that was a voice that was on the air. Mac Davis. I was singing those songs, and as a kid, I'd be a real hurting song. I'd be trying to sound like them, and so I grew up as sort of a mimic. Mm-hmm. And then later, I was in a cover band. So, like, if we're singing REM. I'm singing like REM. If I'm singing U2, I was doing Bono. How do you sing U2 and be me? The world didn't want that in college then. That was then.
Right.
Then I go play Buddy Holly for 2 years, and I go, if you knew Peggy Sue, then you know I feel blue without Peggy. You know.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I was being Buddy.
Right.
And then I get, whose line is it anyway? And they go, now you're going to sing a song in the style of Sting, and it's about your dog getting lost. So then I come to Nashville, and I'm Deacon. That I get, and I take it down. It's a little lower. It's a portion of me. And now it's time to make my own music. And I went, what is my voice? Because all my influences, I don't have what you have, which is, there it is. So for me, a lot of it was stripping away other stuff, quit thinking about it. It is what it is.
Right.
And there is a unity. So I did 54 singles in 54 weeks. Did you know that?
No.
I, back in 16, was trying to get some music out. I didn't know how long Nashville was going to last.
Uh-huh.
And I was sort of getting very blocked, like sort of paralysis of analysis. What's the EP going to be? What's the song?
Okay.
And I said, you know what? Screw it. And I just held up. I was writing so much. I was doing so many demos and I went up in social media and I said, I'm going to put out a brand new single every Friday for as long as I can do it. And I thought maybe I would do 20 of them. And it just opened up this period of such intense creativity. Mm-hmm. And I was surrounded by people that could help me with it.
Right.
Including my wife, Patty, who made the details run and got them on time and everything. And so 54 weeks later, I had done 54 singles. And that was my 10,000 hours. That was my master's in Nashville. As a guy that, you understand me feeling like I got here way behind everybody.
I understand.
And I would go on the road and nobody would have any even music of mine to get. Like, they loved the show. And there was, I would say, this next one's available in record stores nowhere. And so it was true. So I just started doing it. And by the way, that's a Guinness World Record. I'm in the Guinness book. They said 54 singles and 50. It's a Guinness World Record because why the hell would you do anything that stupid? It's just ridiculous.
Or how did you do it?
So, but that is different. When I was doing that, that was finding my voice, because this song was my sort of Springsteenian song. This is a little more stingy. This song is a little more Darius, got that little rasp. This song is a little more that, and all of those singles, there's so many that are just me, but it wasn't till the album that I said, all right, now, dude, now this is you.
And were all of those songs originals that you wrote? So
Yeah.
that's how you found your voice also.
Yeah.
Because you're now just singing your own melodies, your own, and there's nothing to base it off of except what's in your head. What is in here.
Yes, but the trick with me is if I sang something soulful, like it would be hard not to sing to try to sound like Otis Redding on that. And then if I sang this, it's hard not to sound like Tom Petty on. I could feel my voice drift to who, if life was a dream, who I would pitch the song to. So
Now,
if I would pitch this to the Eagles, then I'd sing it like the Eagles. If I would pitch this to Elvis Costello, then I'd sing it like Elvis. You would never do that. You would be Sara Evans singing an Elvis Costello song, but it would, if you sang like My Aim Is True, which you would kill, by the way.
Is that Elvis Costello?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to check that out.
My
I
Aim
don't
Is
know
True,
that song.
but there's so many songs that like, that's what I envy is you would bring you and you would be so you. I have other skills, other strengths.
Not to say that I wouldn't, like, for instance, when I'm singing a Fleetwood Mac song, I will...
Yeah, do you? Do you get a little bit more like that?
Yeah, I will add a shitload of vibrato. Because one of the things that I have is a real fast vibrato, which I love that in singers. But I can also sing very straight because I started out in bluegrass. That's how I learned to sing.
Yeah, there's no... Yeah.
You know, it's just...
I almost do it
da, da. But Fleetwood Mac is like, you know, whenever I call you friend.
Yeah, it's got to be tremulous and So my father had a couple of those words. He's one of those guys that those malapropisms where he pronounced words wrong. He had a Pittsburgh accent. So one day he goes, "Hey, you got a lot of bravado in your voice." Bravado. So no, but I hear exactly what you mean. That's just you messing with it a little bit. Like, yeah, I love that.
And that's just fun. You know, that's just for fun.
Yeah.
When I do an old Hank Williams song or a Patsy Cline song, I definitely will lend my voice a little bit towards Patsy. But it's always...
Yeah, I get more country with certain songs of mine. And you have to.
Yeah.
And part of me is like, that's not authentic. It's like, the hell, it's not. What are you talking about? You know, Bruce Springsteen came from New Jersey and he's going, I saw Mary, you know, screen door slams.
Right.
You know, and it's the heart that makes it authentic.
It is. Because don't you also
He believes it more than anybody that ever saw anybody on any front porch ever.
Exactly. Like that, or like Tom Petty. Don't you also love people who don't have fabulous voices, but they're so cool?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I do.
Like, now my mind is blank on a Tom Petty song because I'm been talking all day. What's a big Tom Petty? Is it You Can't Always Get What You Want?
No, that's Rolling Stones.
That's Rolling Stones. Yeah.
I won't back down. No,
Correct.
I won't
back down.
That's just cool.
Gonna stand my ground. He's not doing anything.
Right.
But he's doing everything.
Yeah.
Same with Casey Musgraves. I love how simply she sings.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so like, born in a hurry, always late, haven't been, you know, it's like she's stoned. You know, she's just like so
I mean, like.
calm. Yeah.
No, but I'm such a fan of hers, but I'd never thought about it like that.
Her voice is so simple.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. That was something I learned playing Deacon. Is I thought this is not a guy who's singing. It's almost singing like I sang a song called Back Home. Like it says sometimes it feels like I'm so far away, like everything I love has lost its place. And there's no way I could go, sometimes it feels like I'm so far away.
Exactly.
I just had to be the guy that didn't give enough a shit to say all those things. And also he is cool. Something that, there's a whole lot of things that surrounded by what makes it cool, not trying.
Yes.
The second people can catch you trying, it doesn't look as cool.
Yeah, if I've got a song like Could Not Ask for More, is my fans are gonna hate to hear me say this. It's my least favorite song to do live.
I was gonna just cut right through that. No, what are you gonna say?
We're gonna leave it at that. They're never gonna know what I said. That was great. Perfect. So, because it's very, very difficult, even though it's plain.
Sometimes simple's real hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, could I ask for more than this out with you? And every prayer has been answered. But doing that full voice, you know.
Yeah.
It is so hard. So, on the parts that I know are coming up that I don't like, that I dread singing,
What do you do?
I think about the line before it or the line after it. So I'm like, focus on that. Just let that part go by.
Oh.
And I always end up nailing it. It's like a triple lux. Like, if I'm not thinking about it.
That is really good. And that if you took that back to the acting, if I said right now, I said, all right, Deacon's over there playing a song. I want you to think about this. I want you just to think about somebody in your family that you really love that makes you happy.
Right.
What if they had said that? So I'm over there playing and you're thinking of the last funny thing your son said.
And I would have been like, you know, because just thinking about my kids makes me smile. You know, you're a dad.
So, yeah.
That's incredible. We've both given each other good advice.
But also taking your eyes off something. Like there's one of my favorite movies is Tin Cup, where Kevin Costner plays a golfer and he gets the yips. He can't hit straight. And Cheech Marin playing his caddy says, take all the change from your right pocket, put it in your left pocket. Take everything in your left pocket, put it in your right pocket. And he's like, what? And he's like, do it.
Yeah.
Go do it. All right, now hit. And he goes, boom. And he's pure.
Mind games.
Get your brain out of the way.
Yeah, just mind games.
Yeah, but my relaxation ray gun is somehow weird.
I mean,
I'm like teasing you. No, they're all mind games. I'm saying they all go back
weird,
to it.
But the only thing I thought of was Cindy Brady. You know, remember when she like stared? Was it Cindy?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Or
the red light came on and she was like.
It was Jan. Was it Jan or Cindy? It was one of them. Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, because she was really good
froze.
at it. No, that's exactly right. So I went the opposite about it. I might have seen that show too much. And I was like, so you feel like that. I mean, it's sincerely crazy to have. Here's a red light. Like, here's a bull. So anyway, so all these things to get around it. I love that. I'm right now getting ready. This will probably be out after it. I don't even know. Fear is so important in my whole ethos of what I think. Maybe I was like, I was scared as a kid. I was a little guy. And so whether it was like a bullies or whatever else, I was never like doing. And then finally, I think like my senior year, I got punched in the face. Just thing happened. And I remember thinking before it was even done, in the middle of the punch, I thought, that's not as bad as I thought it was. Why was I so afraid? So I don't like being afraid. I don't like fear pushing me somewhere. So I frequently use fear as like my compass. You're afraid of that?
Do it.
Guess you got to do that.
Yes.
And recently they called me from Pittsburgh, which is my hometown where I was born, and they asked me to come play Harold Hill in The Music Man. And like, yes, we got trouble right here in River City. And when I tell you the number of lyrics, there are so many lyrics. And this old addled brain now, I'm just right in the middle of it, just busting my ass, because fear is a great motivator.
It is.
I know that if I don't learn this, it could get ugly up there.
Right.
Like if in the middle of this, it's a spiel. It's so fast.
Is that the song In the Morning, in the Evening? No.
No. Like,
song.
You know, like it's like from 1962, and it was a movie, but before that was on Broadway. It's where they got 76 trombones led the big parade, and they also got there were birds in the sky, but I never heard them winging.
Oh, I love that
song. I never heard them at all. Isn't that a great song?
I love that song.
That's one. And Trouble in River City is another one. Yes, you got trouble right here in River City. Well, the capital T in that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. And a lot of it is not even sung, it's spoken. There's a line in the beginning, and he says, I'll just do a little bit. It's crazy. This will help me remember it.
Okay.
It says, he's trying to tell them that a pool table is going to ruin the community. He goes, it's a pool table, don't you understand? Friend, either you are closing your eyes to a situation you do not wish to acknowledge, or you are not aware of the caliber of disaster indicated by the presence of a pool table in your community. Well, you got trouble, my friend. Right here, I say trouble right here in River City. Why, sure, I'm a billiard player. Certainly mighty proud to say. I'm always mighty proud to say it. I consider that the hours I spend with a cue in my hand are golden. Help you cultivate horse sense and a cool head and a keen eye. You ever take and try to find an ironclad lead for yourself from a 3-rail billiard shot? But just as I say it takes judgment, brains, and maturity to score in a balk-line game, I say that any boob can take and shove a ball in a pocket. And I call that sloth, the first big step on the road to the depths of degradation. I say first, medicinal wine from a teaspoon, then beer from a bottle. And that's only the very beginning of it.
We all need to applaud that. That was amazing.
That is like 1/100th of the show. Thank you, though. By the way,
when are you doing
your
this?
face is perfect for the deacon scene right now.
Yeah.
If you had just done that.
I want to redo
Yes, can we go back?
on the deacon face.
You know, you get to remaster old songs and everything. Why can't you go back and just...
Please, I
they
wanna
will.
redo.
They will. AI in a few years. You'll go in there and you'll, can we fix that? I just want to go like...
I'm just going to remember you doing what you just did. That was amazing. That
Thank
was
you.
amazing.
I'm right in the middle of it, and I do feel that this is crazy. I'm going to get up there, and I'm going to be having to remember. Because say I messed up one of those lines, where do you go next?
Where do you go? Yeah. No,
But I'm so
you're not
thrilled
going
to
mess
get to
it
try
up. When is this and what is this?
This is a second week of July. I'll be in Pittsburgh. It's called The Music Man.
Okay.
At the Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera.
God, I would love to come see that.
Ah, you would not.
Yes, I would.
Really?
Are you kidding
all
me?
right. Okay. Well, come see it.
That would be so amazing if we were up there and at that time.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah. That'd be incredible.
We're out of time. Bye, everybody. Well, honest to God, though, I just love you. I love your personality, and I love that we met and we became friends. I'm also so happy that the producers on Nashville called me in to speak to them for hours to advise them on the show. Do you know
about
that?
Raina, about what it would be like for Raina? Mm-hmm. I think you may have mentioned something about that. I didn't know it was a long time.
one of
Did
the
they
funnest
just sit
things
you down and ask you a million questions?
Yeah, we just sat in a big boardroom and they were like, "What's it like?" So I just talked for hours. And
Did you ever see any of it in there? Like I mentioned that.
Totally.
That was there.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean,
Then
100%.
thank you. Look, we talked for a second about, no doubt, when you're shooting that much television, 26 episodes for 6 seasons, there are going to be moments, directors come in and have you do, and there's things that don't really happen. Connie especially, she and I, all of us fought very hard to make it as truthful as we could.
Right.
You're always, with network TV, lots of times you're trying to smuggle a little truth into these, because they want these big moments, but I always felt the heart and the strength of Nashville was the smaller moments, the two people just sitting there and just being, and
yeah.
I thought that, and so thank you for being part of.
Oh my God, it was an honor to meet. Are you kidding? That was such an honor. And I thought, and do think Connie is amazing as well.
Me too.
But thank you so much for coming. This episode is going to be the best ever. And I just want to encourage you that I think you're a fabulous singer. And I'm not just saying that. So I just don't want you to ever, not that you do, but you're a natural singer. You were born with it. And that is true.
Thank you for that. That means the wide world to me.
It's true.
To hear you say that is something, so thank you.
Absolutely.
So that means we can sing together?
Absolutely.
Let's do that.
Anytime.
We'll write together, we'll sing together.
Absolutely. I want to, honestly, I really do want to write together and sing it together.
You heard it.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Ladies.
Actually, we won't.
Music Man, Sarah? I knew like all the words you were singing. Well, not the
You knew them all? You've seen it that much?
I've seen this movie a lot. Not your monologue.
Yeah, same. I know that's one beautiful song. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, we got in trouble with that one.
Yeah, I knew
right?
that.
Never City with a
Yeah.
cabinet. Yeah, absolutely.
What are the dates again?
I'll be the 9th through the 14th. It's only a week. It's crazy. I'm going to learn all that for, what's that?
Doing it on the 14th, that Sunday night. Is that the last night?
Yeah.
You actually have a day off in between shows, and it's like 2 hours from there.
I'm coming.
That's crazy.
Like little kids.
Yeah.
Your parents said you could spend the night.
And they're like, yes! Slumber party! Popcorn!
That's so great.
We're totally going to watch.
What?
Still
Thank you.
Magnolias
Do that.
at our
I
slumber party.
Look, if there's anything that I want to plug at all, it's my debut album. We're coming up. Came out January 25th. It's called Love Ain't Pretty. And we were talking about all those voices we have. This is where, with the help of my buddy Marshall Altman, so much of it is not just the songs you put on it, but as you know, the songs you leave off, and trying to really carve down to what you want to say. And now that I never knew this. The things I'm learning, the test of an album is going on the road, right? Mm-hmm. And is this a journey that they want to take with you? And does one song lead to the next? Or when I was growing up, when you hear a song on the radio, I knew the song that came after it on the album.
Yep.
So to get to have one of those right now, it's just my first. So I'm like this wide-eyed kid just doing this thing, but at this age, and I love it so much, and I'm so proud of it. So that's
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Not to mention that you're awesome on Outer Banks. You play evil so well. Which
but
makes
you
me
notice
proud.
I like to put in some heart in the evil. Like,
You love your children.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think it would be interesting at all if he was just like, I'm bad.
Right.
I'm bad just to be bad.
Yeah.
But I'm bad to save this thing that I built and to, yeah.
You love your family, but you're willing to do whatever it takes. Yeah. You're just incredible all the way around. You're so talented, and I'm coming to that show.
Here we go.
So put tickets back for me,
Okay.
and maybe I'll bring my whole band. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
How fun.